So, welcome back to the Prescription to Travel MD podcast, where I am here to empower you to take well deserved time off and explore the world, whether it's for relaxation, adventure, or self discovery. I want you to decide that you're going to go and really just give you the tools to do so. And so, today we're tackling a topic that may resonate with many of you. You see, I love travel. I love travel hacking. I love using points for travel. I think it's one of the most powerful and exciting things about travel planning that I've discovered thus far. And I think the ability to earn points for putting spend on a credit card that you would be spending anyway is really hard to top. And as doctors and healthcare professionals in particular, with relatively high expenses, we can earn a ton of points just based on our normal spend. So we've got to pay annual dues, we've got board certification renewals and, pharmacy and DEA renewals every year and work-related travel and CME and malpractice insurance, you name it. It's honestly the most low-cost form of traveling for many of us. And it's a means to offset the cost of what might otherwise be a very, very cost-prohibitive trip. If you know, you know. But what if credit cards aren't for you at this time? So maybe you're working on getting your credit score up or paying off debt. Maybe you're just not convinced yet that this credit card thing is worth it for you. Or maybe you already have like one or two cards and you have no desire to open any more. You don't want to use shopping portals. You don't want to make gift card runs. You can't be bothered with this. You just really don't want to spend your time like maximizing the amount of points that you're earning. Although I would really try hard to convince you otherwise if this is the case for you, but I digress. How can you enjoy affordable luxury travel without opening more credit cards? Whatever your reason, I've got you covered with practical tips and strategies to help you achieve that luxe travel experience without adding more cards to your wallet. So, if you've already got a card and points, you're already in a great position. I would encourage you to leverage the points and miles that you already have. So, you want to consolidate the points between yourself and your partner or whoever is living in your household who may be traveling with you and may also have points. Many loyalty programs will allow you to transfer points between your accounts. So if you've got Chase accounts, you've got Chase points, or you've got Amex points, or Delta points, or whatever it may be. Myself and my P2, we were able to merge our Hilton points. Knowing this came in clutch later, but I wish I had known before I bought points for our Maldives trip, as it would have been like $0 for our 5-night hotel stay and would have saved me $800, which is still money very well spent, but I didn't know. And as I'm figuring things out, I'm passing it along to you so you can go and be great. So just check and see if you already have points that are sitting somewhere that you can tap into. And then once you've figured out what points you already have, you want to make sure that you're making those points count. So transferring your points out whenever possible is highly recommended. If they're not tied to a specific hotel or airline, you can transfer and you should do so instead of booking directly through the portal where your points are stored. So we have a bunch of Wells Fargo points that we earned from before we were really into the points game, that we almost blew through just to use because we thought our only option was booking through the portal. And then my husband was actually looking into it a little bit more, and he saw something that said we could transfer our points to Avios. And so if you're familiar with Avios, you know that it can transfer to many different airlines. So you can book flights on British Airways or Qatar, which means we can book Q Suites, which is a bucket list flight for so many of us. Of course, light bulb goes off in my head. I start looking into it myself and realize that Wells Fargo is now a transfer partner of Virgin and Iberia and Air France, Flying Blue, Avianca, Aer Lingus, and so on. So these are a bunch of airlines that can get you across to Europe and Asia and Africa and so on. So yeah, the more you know, right? So don't book through the portal. Transfer out to get the most bang from the points you already have. And make sure you know exactly what you're going to redeem before you make that transfer. You may also want to look for off-peak or shoulder season redemptions to really get the most value from your existing points that you've transferred over. You may want to explore the 5th night free option. So programs like Marriott Bonvoy and Hilton have options where your 4th night is free when you book 4. So I'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute here. You want to take advantage of transfer bonuses before you get ready to transfer and book. So programs will often run these transfer bonuses throughout the year where they may give you like an extra 30 or 60% bonus when you're transferring your points, which will stretch your points even further. So you want to make sure that if you're considering planning a trip and you find the flight and you know that you want to transfer your points to that airline, check and see if they have a transfer bonus that's running or see kind of historically what they've been doing so that way you're prepared. Maximize your points earnings on your existing credit card. So this is a big one. If you're not trying to open up any new cards, you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the multipliers that are on your cards. That so many cards will offer bonuses for certain categories. So you may have a card that offers 3 times points for travel bookings or 4 times points on dining or groceries, and those points will quickly add up. You want to make sure that you're using the annual credits and perks on the cards that you have already, such as Chase Sapphire card. It has a $300 travel credit. You don't have to book through the portal, which is really great about this credit. It's automatically credited back to you for any travel that you book. Or the Capital One Venture X card comes with a $300 credit, but you must book that through the portal to redeem the credit. So we redeemed a Disney booking through the portal, and then I was able to just confirm with the hotel that the booking was made and everything was fine. And I saved myself $300. Some cards may offer an annual travel credit. They may give you like a free hotel night or maybe a companion pass. And so you want to make sure that you're taking full advantage of these. I got a random Hyatt free night that showed up in my email last year for staying at like 3 different types of Hyatt or something. And if I had skipped over or deleted that email without opening it, I wouldn't even know that it existed. And so like now when I log into my account, I can see it, but I know I have to look for it. So just make sure you check to see what's already sitting in your account. Log into your account, see what you have, and don't let them expire. You may consider buying points. So Hilton currently has a sale where they will 100% match what you buy. So you can buy 160,000 points for $1,600. So you'll get 320,000 points with the match. That's enough for 3 nights at the Conrad in the Maldives. And if you're topping off points and have enough for a 4th night, you would get the 5th night free. These are rooms that go for like thousands of dollars a night. So it may be worth it in this case. I recently posted about this on my Instagram stories. So if you've been following along, you may have seen that. With the current Hilton offer, you can potentially buy enough points between yourself and another person to book 4 nights, get the 5th night free. If you want to get the 5th night free, you must have silver or higher status within Hilton. I showed exactly how you could book a 5-night stay at the Waldorf Los Cabos for $2,800, which is insane. The bonus offer for buying Hilton points is targeted, but if you're eligible, you can buy points and get 100% match on those points. So buying 140,000 miles or points for $1,400 would give you 28,000 points that you can use at Hilton. And then a night at the Cabo location would run you about 140,000 points per night, and that's the sweet spot. So some nights are like 1,000,000 points, but if you can find a string of 5 nights where the standard room is available at 140,000 points per night amount, then you can book 4 nights on points and get the 5th night free. The Waldorf Costa Rica is opening up after May this year. And if you look like right outside of the rainy season, like November, December, they had lots of rooms that were available for 120,000 points per night. So very tempting for me as I'm thinking about going back to Costa Rica. 1, because there were so many things I didn't see. And 2, because I would love to just stay at the Waldorf. Something to consider. And for those of you who watch my stories, maybe wondering, as of the time of this recording, I have not actually purchased points. Still thinking about getting a new car, but haven't made the jump to do either one yet. Another instance of buying points that would be useful is buying Life Miles. So Life Miles is a program that regularly runs sales where you can buy miles. And so a few months ago, there was like a 200% bonus with their most recent transfer bonus that ended at the end of December. You could get 160% bonus miles. So the cost was about maybe $1.27 per mile. You could buy 520,000 miles for $6,600. So why does this matter? Well, Life Miles can be used to book flights with Avianca. Avianca is part of the Star Alliance, which includes the likes of United, Lufthansa, Turkish, ANA, and more. And so you can book a one-way business flight from the US to Europe for, say, 70,000 points. So that's around maybe 3 round-trip business class flights for around $6,000. I mean, it could cost you this much for 1 flight alone, let alone 3. So sadly, the program underwent a recent devaluation, which means that, you do have to spend more points for the same flights that you would have been able to book for a lot less, a year ago. But inflation kind of sucks, and it is what it is. But still, it's an amazing deal if you value business class flights and you have no interest in playing the credit card game, or if, for instance, you have a spending allowance for work or your business and you want to be able to travel business class and not use your points, it might be a good option for you. Another good way to get good deals on travel is to take advantage of mistake fairs and flash sales. So if you use apps like Thrifty Traveler or Ashley Gets Around or Going, which used to be Scott's Cheap Flights, to monitor and snag discounted flights, you may be able to score one. So They'll send you email alerts whenever the flight deals pop up, sometimes even by text, and you just have to be ready to snag them. So, a coworker of mine snagged a really good deal using this to take her family to Fiji. No points, just cash, but a trip that was made possible by a mistake fare that popped up, and she was ready to book. I also like using sites such as Travelzoo. So they consistently have pretty good deals and they are legit. I use them all the time for cash deals before I got into points travel. And it used to be free, but it switched to membership for most deals, I think last year, unless you were grandfathered in for like a year or something. But it's a good one to check out. You can join loyalty programs and earn points or free stays or perks like free breakfast that way. So there's no additional cost in many instances. You don't need a credit card. I've racked up points by staying at like different hotels. And then if you use like different shopping portals, such as like Rakuten, you can sometimes score like huge bonus points when you book directly through Rakuten to get directly to the hotel. So something to consider. You can also earn miles by linking your loyalty accounts to dining or shopping portals. For example, United Mileage Plus has a dining rewards program. You can earn miles for eating out at participating restaurants through them, or American Airlines dining program, which is the one that I use. Basically, whatever credit card you use to pay at the restaurant is linked. Doesn't have to be the card for that program. So like with the AA dining program, I don't have to use an American Airline card. I use whatever card I'm paying that's going to get the highest multiple, whatever I'm working on at the time. And then whenever you eat out at a certain restaurant and it's part of the dining program, it's charged to one of the cards on file. You earn points in that program. And then all these little points here and there just add up over time. So I think this is a good way to keep your points from expiring these programs as well. So maybe you haven't flown American Airlines in a while. Using the dining or shopping portals to show that there's some form of activity on your account is going to help keep those points active and from expiring in most cases. So you do have to check with the specific award program, but something to consider. I'm also a fan of Costco. So if you have a Costco card, you can book rental cars. I always find that they have the best deals on cars and hotels and cruise packages and so much more. And everyone in your family doesn't need a Costco card, like my mom. And she usually has a Costco card because she tends to go there more often than I do. I had one, but now most of the time I just book through theirs. And don't quote me on this, but a lot of times, like I've never had them ask for my Costco card when I went to pick up a rental car. So it's just something to think about. But it's a great way to save on hotels as well. Save on your resort fees. Sometimes your transportation is included at no added cost. And then if you shop at Costco, you get cash back to shop there at the end of the year based on the amount that you've spent. One of the biggest keys, I think, to traveling well and affordably is really just being flexible. I think you have to adjust your travel dates sometimes. You have to travel off season or shoulder season, like we did when we went to Costa Rica, which was right after rainy season. We went between October and November. It was early November, actually. Spoiler alert, it rained every afternoon. But you know what? It wasn't 110 degrees outside and humid. Everything was just so lush and tropical. The resort wasn't overcrowded. And it was just an amazing trip. And I would absolutely 100% do it all over again. Another thing that you may want to consider is finding an alternate airport. So in Vegas, there aren't a ton of direct flights internationally. We often see better deals that are leaving from like LAX or Seattle or even JFK in New York. And that means adding on an extra flight. So you may lose some convenience there. And you do have to decide if the cost saved is worth it for you. But it may be the difference between like flying 10 to 12 hours in economy versus a lay flat business class seat on an overnight flight, for a few $100s more. So something to consider. I would also consider lesser known destinations to find luxury for less. So go to Germany instead of going to Switzerland. Maybe you want to go to Asia and maybe you can see sites in Vietnam or the Philippines instead of going to Japan, or locally you go to Carlsbad instead of San Diego on like a busy weekend. You get the same vibe without the heavy price tag in some cases. And it may be easier to book with more availability, and you may find gems that you didn't even know existed if you just think outside of the box. So I'm mostly a hotel girl, but consider vacation rentals so you can access all sorts of unique properties that will have amenities like private pools or ocean views without the luxury price tag. So sometimes you'll still have the luxury price tag, but you're more likely to find reasonably priced accommodations and have more space, a washer and dryer or kitchen, especially if you're traveling a group of 4 or more. And, people sometimes rent out their timeshares at hotels, so you may be able to get a really good deal and stay at the hotel without even booking the hotel. So just make sure you read the reviews, choose a reputable rental, and go from there. Maybe you consider booking a vacation to a drivable destination. so you can save on airfare, especially if you have kids or you're, again, traveling with a larger group. So, me going to Disneyland versus Disney World is like a $2,500 price difference in transportation alone because we can, drive 4.5 hours to Anaheim and avoid paying $500 to $600 per ticket to fly us to Orlando. Don't forget about your state parks and other options that may be a little easier to get to and not nearly as expensive as a trip to like Maui, but equally memorable. Camping may be an inexpensive way to see the parks, or if you're like me, you may want to try glamping. So, shout out to the Wildflower in Zion, which made for a memorable glamping trip once upon a time. I am not a camper, but I like the idea of being in nature. And then I want to go back inside and sleep in a comfortable bed and charge my phone and use a real toilet and shower. And I love that there are places for people like me. So, Under Canvas, which is now part of Hyatt, allows you to go glamping. And you can visit some of the state parks, Yellowstone, Moab, Glacier, Grand Canyon. They even have an offer now where you can get the fourth night free, or you can get 25% off of the second stay if you book 2 stays. So, for instance, if you're thinking about visiting multiple Utah parks and you book a stay in Zion and at Moab or Bryce, where they also have campsite, you would get the second one at 25% off. I think each stay has to be at least 3 nights. And get this, you can book with points. So, if you have Hyatt or Chase or Built points, you're able to transfer your points to book Under Canvas. And so there were tents in the Smoky Mountains that were bookable for like 16,000 points per night. And it looked like you could use a free night aboard there too, which I thought was cool. They also have a promotion for a limited time where every night spent there earns 2 nights. So if you're working on your 60 nights towards Globalist, this is a great way to make those nights count. For this promotion, you do have to sign up for the offer to earn double nights by the 28th of February. And then you have to stay between March 7th and June 15th. So keep that in mind. It's glamping and it's not camping, so it's probably better categorized as like unique pseudo luxury travel and not quite budget because the price for some of the rooms was a little pricey, so like $600 to $700 a night in Yellowstone. But it was peak summer dates that I was looking at, and I know some of the glamping places will have lower priced options even that you can book, and you would still have access to like a bathroom and a shower. It would just be that you'd be sharing spaces or using like shared or communal like bathroom spaces. Anyway, just something to keep in mind, especially if you're like me and you're like kind of outdoorsy but not too outdoorsy. I might actually put that on my own list for 2025. If your budget is tight or you're really just trying to allocate your funds for other aspects of your life, I fully support that too, okay? Being in debt is not fun. Having bills and other priorities, it gets in the way all the time, I know. But I want to give you a big hug and commend you for doing what you need to do, adding those extra payments to send to Sally Mae every month, whatever it is. And while I'm a bit of an enabler, I don't want to advocate for being irresponsible and YOLOing the next year away. But I still would encourage you to take a moment for yourself, okay? Really just pay yourself. Even if it's a staycation at your local hotel, okay, it doesn't have to be big. You may find that there's a locals discount or you get a great deal after the holidays. I know like Vegas hotels, the day after Christmas, the day after New Year's, like prices really dip. So think about those things. Book a room, really just give yourself a chance to just reset for just a moment, okay? Enjoy the pool or maybe take yourself out to dinner. Take a drive to your nearest state park, spend the day hiking and make yourself a picnic or venture out to the hot springs that you didn't even know existed until now because I told you should go and see if there are hot springs in your area. Get on Google and just Google inexpensive getaways near me, whatever it is that you need to do. I think it just makes such a difference when you can get out of your daily routine, even for just a moment, and just really take time for yourself, okay? I'm saying all of this to say that luxury travel doesn't have to mean breaking the bank or the credit card limit that you've set for yourself. And while credit card points is one fantastic way to travel hack and get great value from travel, with a little creativity and strategic planning, you can enjoy incredible experiences while still sticking to your plan, whatever that may be for you. So remember, travel isn't just a luxury, it's a way to reset and recharge and reconnect with what truly matters. And I think you deserve that too. And if you love today's tips, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review. It really helps others to find the podcast. And I would love, 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 love if you would share this episode with a friend who could use a little affordable luxury in their life. Join the conversation in our Facebook group. Let us know about your plans for the year. And as always, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm at the handle Prescription to Travel MD. I would love to hear from you, help get you to all the places that you hope to travel to. Prescription to Travel MD now offers points and travel consultations to help you use your points in addition to credit card consultations to help you figure out what the next card should be in your wallet if that's something that interests you. So visit the website, fill out the form, or send me a message on Instagram and let's get you to your next destination. Until next time, be well.